Good morning everybody. Till last video we have seen about civil disobedience movement which started in 1930 and ended in 1934. As we have seen in non-cooperation movement how different groups took non-cooperation movement, we have studied how in towns people interpreted, how in countryside, how in hilly areas and plantations non-cooperation movement was interpreted in different ways by different groups of people. Now let us see how civil disobedience movement was taken by different groups of people. What were their ideas and what did they mean by Swaraj during the civil disobedience movement? So let us start with the first group, that is rich peasant communities. In the countryside, that means in villages, the rich peasant communities which included Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh, they were hard hit by the trade depression. We have already studied that during that time depression was going on, agricultural prices fell. So when the agricultural prices fell, the trade depression occurred. So this rich peasant communities, their income also started lowering. When their income started disappearing, they were not able to pay the revenue to the government, and they demanded that their revenue should be reduced by the government. But the government did not do that, and when the demand was refused, then in anger the rich peasant communities decided to participate in the civil disobedience movement in 1931. And when they participated in the civil disobedience movement, they were very enthusiastic. They organized all their community members to participate in this, and those who were reluctant members were also asked to participate. They forced them to participate in the civil disobedience movement. Now the basic idea of this rich peasant community, that is Patidars and Jats, was not to attain Swaraj. Their immediate motive was only struggle against high revenue. They wanted that their revenue, the revenue demand by the British government should be reduced so that their business can flourish. So struggle against high revenue was the motive or ideal of the rich peasants. So they enthusiastically participated, and then when in 1931 this civil disobedience movement was called off by Gandhiji, they were very disappointed, and when it was relaunched second time, they did not participate because all of them have lost their enthusiasm. So this is all about the first group, that is rich peasants in the countryside who took Swaraj as struggle against high revenue. Now let us take another group in the countryside itself. One group was rich peasant. Now let us see how poor peasants took the civil disobedience movement. Did they participate in the civil disobedience movement? And if they participated, what was their motive of participating? So as one of the cause for the rich peasants in participating in civil disobedience movement was trade depression, same was also the case of the poor peasants. Because agricultural prices fell, their income dwindled, so they also found it difficult to pay rent to the government. They were paying two rents. One, they were paying the rent to their immediate landlords also, because they have rented the land for agriculture from the landlords. So they have to pay revenue to the landlords also. So when agriculture prices fell and their income lowered, they were not able to pay back the revenue to the landlords. So they wanted that the landlords should reduce the rent or exempt them from the rent. So unpaid rent which was left to be paid, that unpaid rent was to be remitted. That was the demand of the poor peasants, because they were finding it difficult to pay the rent to the landlord. And because they were not able to pay the rent and they got angry, So they joined the radical movements. Radical movements means we have already studied there were two groups, one was moderate and one was extremist. So extremist is the radical group. So they joined the radical group, and those who were socialists and communists, they were the supporters of poor peasants. So the socialist and the communist leaders, they supported the poor peasants, but opposite to that, Congress did not support the poor peasants. Why Congress did not support? Because Congress always supported the rich peasants. And when they are asking to, their demand is not to pay rent to the rich landlords. And if this demand is agreed by the Congress, then they will make angry the rich peasants, because it is the rich peasants' money which is lowering. So Congress was unwilling to support because they thought it will upset the rich peasants and the landlords. So when their demands were not heard by Congress, so all the enthusiasm of the poor peasants to participate in the civil disobedience movement slowly came down, and the relation between poor peasants and the Congress remained uncertain. So to summarize this, two groups participated in civil disobedience movement. Rich peasants were enthusiastic in the early stage, but later on, because of the calling off of the civil disobedience movement, they lost their interest. While poor peasantry were also interested to participate in civil disobedience movement, but because Congress did not support them, so they also lost. We have already seen how the rich peasants and the poor peasants participated in the civil disobedience movement and what was their motto. Now let us see a third group, that is big business class. Did they participate in civil disobedience movement, or what was their aim? So basically the business class is always a huge profit making group. During the First World War, when imports from Britain and other countries stopped and the Indian made goods were sold in more quantity, these businessmen gained a huge profit and they were becoming richer and richer. But once the First World War was over, again the import from the other countries started, which was a threat to the business community in India, because the homemade goods were not sold easily. So basically the business class now reacted against the policy of business restriction. That means the business of the Indian people were restricted and the imports was given more importance. So this was against the benefit of the business class. So this business class wanted protection against the imports. They do not want the imports of goods to come to India, and they wanted that rupee sterling foreign exchange ratio should be maintained so that it will discourage the imports. And to fulfill their demands, they formed two organizations, one in 1920 which is called as Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress, and in 1927 one is Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industries in 1927. So these two organizations were formed by the business class to protect their interests. The main leadership was taken by two businessmen. One was Purushottam Das Thakurdas and one was G.D. Birla. These business people gave financial assistance to the Congress also, so that they can continue the civil disobedience movement. So Congress was indebted to this business class, and colonial restrictions on the Indian business to be removed. This was the main motive of the business class. So as I previously also told you, every group was not interested in Swaraj. Everybody has their own selfish motive to participate in the civil disobedience movement, and the selfish motive of business class was to remove the restrictions by the colonial government on the Indian business so that their business can flourish. So enthusiastically they participated for a long time, but when Gandhiji went to London for Round Table Conference and the Round Table Conference failed and Gandhiji came back and withdraw the movement, the enthusiasm of this business class slowed down. Moreover, at that time some militant activities also started in India which was against the benefit of business class. So slowly the participation of business class in the civil disobedience movement reduced. Now let us see opposite to business class, that is in industries there are working class opposite to business class. Business class are rich, working class are poor people. Let us see this industrial working class participated in civil disobedience movement or not. Because Congress was always supportive to the business class, because it was the business class who paid them the money, fund, etc. So this industrial working class was not much interested in participation in the civil disobedience movement. So many of the working class did not participate except few working class here and there. So some workers in Nagpur were very enthusiastic and they participated in the civil disobedience movement. They, because the industrialists were closer to Congress, so the workers stayed aloof. They did not join the movement. Now some of the workers were so enthusiastic in participating in civil disobedience movement that they followed all the ideas of the Gandhian ideology, Gandhian program, like boycott of foreign goods and all. They participated in all these programs, and their selfish motive for the industrial working class was to overcome low wages and poor working conditions. So basically this is the main motive of the poor peasantry, that this problem will be solved, and here their problem was colonial restrictions on Indian business class to be removed. So this should be removed for them, and low wages and poor conditions should overcome by the working class. Now for that, many of the working class participated in railway strikes. Then there were railway workers strikes, there were dock workers strike also in many parts of India. In Chota Nagpur plateau, you know Chota Nagpur plateau is full of mines. So there is a tin mine also there in Chota Nagpur plateau. There the workers wore Gandhian cap and enthusiastically participated in civil disobedience movement. They organized protest rallies also, boycott campaigns also. But whatsoever was the work done by the industrial working class, the Congress was not much enthusiastic in including their demands in the program, in the civil disobedience movement program. So the Congress was reluctant to support the working class. Congress supported the big business class. We have seen how rich peasants, poor peasants, business class and the working class took civil disobedience movement. Now let us see how women was looked during the civil disobedience movement. Women were very active during the civil disobedience movement. They participated in the Salt March, which was organized by Mahatma Gandhi. They came out of their homes to listen to Mahatma Gandhi, and they participated in the protest marches also. They manufactured salt, they picketed foreign clothes, liquor shops, and many went to jail also during the Salt March. In urban areas, especially these women belong to the rich families or high caste families, and in rural areas they belong to the rich peasant household families. So such women participated in the civil disobedience movement. Even after having so much done for the civil disobedience movement, enthusiastically participating in the civil disobedience movement, there was no way there was no change in the way they were looked upon by the society. The value of the women always remained low only. Even after so many efforts, the people were not ready to change their mentality about the women. Even Gandhiji said that the duty of women is only to look after home and hearth. Hearth means chulha chowki. And good mothers, and they should be good mothers and wives only. And Congress, that is why Congress was not ready to give any high position to women for a long time. And of course they wanted women only to represent civil disobedience movement for a symbol. They wanted only symbolic presence of women, but they did not give any special position to women in the Congress, or they did not change the way they looked upon women. So in this civil disobedience movement we have seen 5 topics: rich peasants, poor peasants, business class and working class and women. How these 5 groups looked into civil disobedience movement in different